what's going on in the bear market. And this is the big players. This is the institutions. This is the governments stacking their Bitcoin positions. We know that the U.S. government has been one of the biggest buyers.
A lot is going on, but you're not hearing about a lot.
Bigs and balls.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to your feature channel, Biggs and Boggs. I'm Marty Boggs.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
We got Spencer on sound and screens. Thanks for joining us today, folks. We got a real good one for you today, so make sure you smash that like button. Let's get right into it. What are we up to today, and how can we plan for tomorrow?
Thanks, Marty. Good to be back. Today, we're going to talk about bear market building, what is going on, what is happening when no one else is looking, what can you be doing to stack up. But first, as always, market scope first.
Market scope.
So right now, we are looking at the Bitcoin versus US dollar chart on the daily time frame. And we are coming in now at $19,509. So we got a little pop today. So we made our way back down to 19 during the week. And now we seem to be getting closer to this apex here. Again, 19.5 right now. But you can see that we're still kind of floating in this area. And I do think we're just going to drag it out. So last week we were saying a couple of weeks. And it looks like it could honestly still be at least a week or another couple of weeks before something major happens. I think, we could potentially get a little tease out of this line that we've had since the all-time high. But I think even if we did, it would probably be a fake out at this point. I'm not expecting much. I think it'll travel further in here. So,
RSIs are tight. Anything could happen.
RSI is tight. It's still floating in the same range. We can see the RSI down here. It's still technically in an uptrend on the RSI. It hasn't formed any lower lows yet.
This is pretty much when people say Bitcoin's dead.
Yeah, this is when people are saying Bitcoin's dead. So that brings us to this conversation. Bear market building. What can you be doing right now when nobody's looking? So if people are saying Bitcoin's dead and nobody's looking and it's dead and we might as well not buy it because it's at 20.
Yes.
It's been here since basically January, March, or whenever we finally hit the bottom.
You want to at least consider the psychology behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But people are still buying, so we're still in this range up and down here. So what does this look like to me? This looks like, big players making some buys, traders are making their trades, but essentially I believe this to be, bigger players stacking their positions,
and you can see
for longer horizons.
Exactly. When you zoom in down to lower time frames, like even the 1 minute, you can see all these buys coming in.
Let's go to the 1
You can see all these buys coming in. Well, you can go check probably what happened this morning. There was one big buy.
So we're switching to the 1 minute. And on the 1 minute time frame, obviously things are really, really.
You got to have your volume so you can see it. But
crazy.
Basically, what started the little pump this morning was one big buy, and then everybody hops on for a bit, and now we've kind of just leveled out, right?
Yeah, you can see some big purchases. And this is essentially what this is just bigger players dollar cost averaging in.
Exactly.
So we go back to these bottom of these ranges, and right now this bottom support is 19K, right? So we get back there, and people are like, oh, 19K, this is a good spot.
And if you actually go back even a few more minutes, you'll see a dip this morning. So it came down and it probably came down in a few, maybe even, yeah. So anyways, it came down a bit and probably some limit orders got triggered, right? And then starts to bring the price up a bit, and then people are paying attention.
So here's a dip there. So I don't generally personally myself like to look at the shorter time frames. It's just crazy.
Yeah, unless you're scalping, but.
So actually, you know what? We'll look at the 4 hour chart. If we want to go to the lower time frames to see what's going on, you can see these kind of dips and big things that go on. And like Marty's saying, you know what I mean? One big purchase from somebody dollar cost averaging in when they hit 19K again sends these spikes up, right? So we see these drastic moves and then the big sell-off. So we've got people trading in here, right? So this might have been someone dollar cost averaging in, great, wham, that causes a big pump. Then the traders sell it off, right? And we level out. And we see these things happen here. Here's this big wick. We had some dump off, some limit orders, some bigger players pick this up,
lots of buying strength.
So we're still in this same range and things still moving sideways. And now we're looking now at the
basically that
4 hour chart, and we can see how much more room we still have to go in this apex
before we see a change of market structure.
This
is what that indicates.
This descending line of resistance. This orange line, descending line of resistance, comes right from the all-time high. I actually put it to the previous all-time high. I think that was the 65K that we hit, is where I drew this line from, because I just think that the 69K, I think, was a little bit of a hype run after the fact. You know what I mean? I think that was just a little tease, fake out. So anyway, that's where I've got
And
my
money
line
printing.
from. But yeah, so I mean, potentially this week we could see a little, maybe a test of this line, but you know, potentially not even if we do a trend line from
Bitcoin is
just
dead,
the top of this here.
but you know what happens when you poke it with a stick, right?
Yeah, so actually we're breaking a little bit of a resistance line here. So if we have 3 points of contact here, we are technically breaking a little resistance. So we could see a test of the orange line. Again, like I said, maybe a little bit of a fake out in here, but I'm not expecting anything major. So where does this resistance line
Still a
go
lot
to?
of things in the next month or so pointing to lower prices.
Yeah. And so even
Especially,
if we...
well, that's another thing I want to bring up, actually. The Fed was saying that they were going to go another 75 basis points in the middle of October or beginning of November. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Or it's estimated, I should say. It's estimated. They obviously don't say until the day, right? But it's estimated that they will go up another 75 basis points, which should push everything down.
And so, and what that means is 75 basis points is the interest rates of debt financing going up. So whether it's, you know,
anybody borrowing money
or borrowing money, it's going up another 0.75% basically.
Yeah, and everybody get that pretty much trades with borrowed money. So that's
so when debt financing goes up, the housing market comes down, stock markets come down, everything comes down because the strength is in the US dollar. We know the strength is in the US dollar right now because we can see it happening in the charts as well.
Yeah.
So, you know,
so we might see that bump up to 115 in the next couple months.
Yeah.
But then, like we said a couple episodes ago, I don't know how much higher it's going to go after that, because they're going to be like really,
and this is
they're really tightening down, right?
Me,
like really quickly.
If there is the, whatever you want to call it, financial cartel or whatever, which a lot of people believe in, and it just makes sense, and they've been doing it for, you know, more than 100 years. They communicate on a level across the globe to do these things and steer these markets. So right now we know that the safest asset right now essentially is the US dollar.
Yeah.
US dollar being the strongest asset, people have dumped their money into that. We can see it happening. That is why it's reached $1.13 in the last couple of months too, right? So we see that happening, but that can only go so far. Like it can only go so far.
They only want it to go so far.
Exactly. So right now they stack their position into the US dollar as the economy slows down, the housing market rolls over, and they're just sucking up that liquidity in the US dollar right now because they were smart enough to pull their positions out at the beginning of this year because they're the ones that caused the crash, right?
Yeah.
Now everybody else got fucking hurt in all those red candles.
Yeah.
And now they're building up the US dollar again, and it's only a matter of time before it fucking tips the other way again.
I think they really do want to push people to a breaking point though this time, because think about how inflated it became in 2020 and 2021. Like so much money put in. So when no matter what you do, when you hit a high like that, you got to come crashing down.
And it's like I don't know. So we hit a rate of what was it? Was the like high rate last month? 8%?
8.7, I think, was the
8.7%. So that is still not like everyone's like, oh my god, hyperinflation. It's like we're not. It's like that's not even hyperinflation yet. You know what I mean?
No.
Like if you look at
other countries were at 20 in the 20s.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's like, and there's what was the bolivars or whatever? Didn't it totally tank? Like they hyperinflated
the Turkish, whatever.
Well, anyway, so it's like there's actually been a couple of bigger currencies that have failed in the last couple of years, and just you look at it in comparison to a stack of US dollars to what it takes for a stack of bolivars or whatever, like it was like an insane amount, you know what I mean? So there's already currencies failing. The US happens to be the strongest, but it will fail too. So what happens before that actually occurs is the hyperinflation that you know, boost that dollar to the basically to the end of its existence, and we haven't really hit that because 8% or 8.5% is still not hyperinflation.
But that's starting to trend more volatile,
right?
Is what it's doing, which is nuts, right? Because it starts out very volatile, and then it gets stable, and then it has its stable, you know, period or whatever you want to say, and now that it's on its way out. And it's a battle between how long can we push this on for, how long are people going to buy this for, how long can we hold on and squeeze this for, and then until we just get out of it completely.
Yeah. So, we just actually maxed out there. So the 4-hour candle, I'm just going to go back to the chart here. The 4-hour candle, we're on the 4-hour chart, so I'm just going to talk about it for a sec. The 4-hour candle just changed in the last 6 minutes here. And, from this resistance line, it looks like it could have peaked out. But again, like I said, if we get actually a retest of this line right here, we could see this move up to the next resistance. So I couldn't, maybe a 19.3 bounce here, and then potentially a little move again to 20K. So 19.8, and that's the number I've been following for so long that night. The 8s and the 2s and the 100. So,
but we're dollar cost averaging, right, Julian?
Exactly. We're dollar cost
because
averaging. But that's the thing that's the thing we're talking about. What's going on in the bear market? So here was our topic for today: bear market building. What's going on in the bear market? And this is the big players. This is the institutions. This is the governments stacking their Bitcoin positions. We know that the U.S. government has been one of the biggest buyers.
A lot is going on, but you're not hearing about a lot. That's the thing.
No, of course. And they're going to tell you that Bitcoin's scary and you shouldn't do it because it's so volatile and this and that. Well, it's like, hey, why are you the fucking biggest holder then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's so dangerous and it's so scary, how come you got such a fat bag of it?
Yeah. How come some countries tell their people they can't have it because they want to have it all?
Yeah. Hey, this stuff, you probably shouldn't use it. You shouldn't get into it because,
but let us hold on to that for you.
But we'll hold on to that. We're going to stack a big fat bag just in case. And then we'll let you know if it works out.
Yeah.
Right? And by that time, your Bitcoin, you're going to be able to use it and function with it because everybody will. I really believe that. But if you stack that bag now.
And I honestly have there's a reason why there's so many zeros in a 8 decimal points after the decimal in Bitcoin, right? For one Satoshi.
So the thing, and people need to understand this, is that there's only 21 million Bitcoin, right? There's 21 million Bitcoin in the world.
Yeah.
This is what makes it so attractive and so valuable. We've already used 19 million. There's 19 million in current supply, current circulation.
Trading being used.
And I believe that 13% is actually lost. So we can't even get below the value of whatever the 13% is, right? So that's fantastic news. Also, really, sorry to all you guys who lost your fucking Bitcoin, but that is also the thing that makes it that super attractive too moving forward, right? So we got 2 million left, but even if there was only one Bitcoin, okay? Even if there was only one Bitcoin left in the world and that was it, say the rest of them were all lost and there was only one left, that could be fractionalized so much that its value is still enough for the entire world. This is what people need to understand. And this is what it fixes in our monetary policy now. Because if we have a monetary policy that we're rounding up now to 5 cents, right? There's a lot of room for error in a transaction because we use this bullshit fiat currency, this monopoly money, but everything that we do is run on a digital scale. And your money means nothing. Once you put your money in the bank, it's gone. It's just digital fucking zeros. They take it all, they invest in it, and they create something from nothing.
They lend it to somebody else.
Right?
It's gone. Yeah.
It's all a Ponzi scheme. It's all Ponzi. And it's like, you know what, whether you think Bitcoin is Ponzi or not, it can be looked at and viewed as that, but it's not. What it is really...
Well, it has to. It is.
It's monetary.
Bitcoin
is literally. It could be monetary fucking oneness for the whole entire globe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once everybody has it,
there's no reason for people to be starving, and we know that. Okay. Yeah. There's no reason for people to be fucking poor, and we know that now. Yeah. Bitcoin is literally the answer to that because it can be fractionalized and marginalized to everybody in any budget anywhere,
worldwide, globally.
If there only was one Bitcoin in the world, it is literally enough for everybody because we can fractionalize it into such a small amount.
Yeah, so you'll be using Satoshis like you're using dollars, basically.
Right? Exactly.
Think about that.
Because we know the monetary policy is failing. We know it is. They know it is. That's the way. That's why it got so hyperinflated through the last 2 years. They made so much fucking money. Because if they know it's coming to an end, they have to hyperinflate things. They have to balloon the housing market. They have to balloon this. Yeah. And that's how we reset things. So, whether, I don't know if we want to talk about fucking what these people are talking about with nuclear shit, but you know what I mean?
Well, there's always something in the news that's going to try and scare you out of the market.
Yeah.
Or whatever, one way or the other. Like,
so
wait, don't do it yet. Wait, right?
So there's huge narrative, you know, saying all these scary things that could happen to the economy. And like, you know, the reality is if we see a war like people are talking about, like the whole economy is fucking done. We're not going to be using dollars anymore.
You're not going to be using much else but like the old trades and stuff like that. So as long as we keep going like this, but that's just like, to me, it's like if that happens, then that happens. But that's a completely different road. You prepare for this. You prepare for what we like. If the future continues to go the way it's going, that's what you prepare for, because anything else doesn't matter.
It's, you know, and the monetary policy is what steers the world. The narrative is what steers the monetary policy. Like, and it is no doubt going to change, and it's not going to change today, and it's not going to change tomorrow, and probably not in the next, you know, 7 years between now and 2030. But
2030
but
is a
2030,
big
2030 to 2040 is huge change season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whether that's the way we consume natural resources or electricity,
produce energy, use energy.
All of these things right now, we are undergoing the biggest kind of change that we've seen technologically.
And you know it's coming. You know it's coming when you see the commercials like, gas is so inconvenient. The inconvenience of gas and oil. My goodness.
I hate that shit.
Can you believe it?
But like, okay, so what's more environmentally impactful, right? We're always going to get fossil fuel. Like, it's never going to stop. You know what I mean? But the world continues to produce it.
What if we run out of dinosaurs?
Yeah, I'm fucking.
We're going to make more dinosaurs. I think somebody's already doing that. Yikes.
Well, what if those other continents exist and the dinosaurs?
Oh, man, that's hilarious. So they just, so we'll never run out?
Did you see
that? It's actually just feeding from underneath.
Did you see that video?
Yeah, I watched that video.
Okay, so there was this video. I don't know if you've seen it, Spence, there, but there was this video of this guy like talking about this conspiracy theory about how like potentially the 1%, like the elite, there's actually extra continents, and like the Arctic wall, the Arctic ice wall is like the barrier between us. It's like the Truman Show or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like the barrier between us and the elite fucking continents or whatever.
Yeah.
And like this is 20. And like where we are where we are in our part of the map that we see is like a farmed resource land where they just, you know, profit from our chaos basically. Mm-hmm. And they're all up there in the other continents like having a heyday. Anyway,
which is crazy because it, like he says that there's dinosaurs, aliens, and a whole bunch of other stuff too.
Well, advanced civilizations, yeah.
Do you honestly think that dinosaurs and aliens would be living together? I think
why not?
Well, I mean, maybe.
Well, prehistoric creatures. You know what I mean?
Prehistoric creatures. The aliens are just hanging out. Yeah, that's prehistoric.
Well, advanced civilizations. Who knows, right?
So far in the past, I guess. Yeah.
Anyway,
anything's possible, right?
So
anything's possible.
Again, here we go. I just want to go back to the chart for a sec here. I'm looking at my RSI. We're on the 4-hour chart still, a little shorter time frame. This is coming into the week too, so this is pretty detrimental. And the things that happened, like Marty was talking about this earlier, actually, is that we see these little dips. And if this is more of a bearish divergence, we come to this in a bearish flag. We're going to see this little bit of a pump, maybe hit that resistance line above us, and then see a larger move to the downside.
Every big leg down has had a pump before it, for sure.
Right. So, you know, we're reaching the top of the RSI. So you can see we're at the top of the RSI. This is going back to October 4th. We were at the top of the RSI. We made our move to the downside, and now we've had 2 tests of the top, didn't quite make it. So again, like we said, so if this is the little fake out pump, we'll see this come out of the RSI, 70% here at the top, marking that it's kind of overbought at this time, and then wham, we'll see that crash come back down here. So I do think we're going to drag out into this apex.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. I think we're just going to see these little pops and these little drops. Basically, if you're
pop and drops,
if you're trading, my best guess or my best advice to you is wait for those little drops or those pops, and either long the drops.
Tell your pops to get some drops into Bitcoin.
Yeah. Long, and then short those little pops because they don't have a lot of legs behind them. They don't have a lot of energy. There's usually only 1 or 2 big buys for a couple minutes, and then the market goes right back to being dead. So it's basically, if you look at volume, weight, average price,
this is
then you have the line or your EMAs for instance, they're smoothed out and they always make it back to these EMAs. So those are the easy trades.
So this is a resistance line coming from the bottom in 2020. And now hitting the apex of the resistance line coming from the all-time high at the end of 2021. So this is definitely a point where we want to be stacking that position. Mm-hmm. And whether it goes down a little more, I'm still stacking here. If it goes down a little more, we're going to, hopefully be able to make another purchase down there.
I mean,
and,
if you're talking total market cap of crypto, and if we see another bull run like we have in the past, total market cap of crypto goes up a few $1 trillion. It doesn't matter what you're holding. If you're buying right now, you are going to be good.
Oh yeah, and we hit 3 trillion, and I think
we're just under $1 trillion right now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, sorry, it hit $1 trillion, right?
I think it hit 3 trillion.
Did it hit 3?
I think so.
And we're just under $1 trillion now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
if we go up to 5 trillion, because look, think about how much money do they put into the system? I heard that the other day, but I can't remember the exact number. 4 trillion or something like that. In the last 3 years,
it was 40% of the current money supply.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years.
Which I'd have to look that up.
Well, if we've been doing this dollar system since 1915 or whatever the fuck it was. And 40% of it was just printed in the last fucking 3 years.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
fucking
compared
nuts.
to the 120 years prior.
That's nuts.
It's terrible.
That's nuts.
It's terrible. It's definitely eye-opening. It opened my eye. I didn't know about a lot of this 5 years ago.
No.
I've been in crypto for a long time, but it wasn't until actually I got like as deep as into crypto as I am now before I realized how the whole world works. Right? Crypto opened my eyes to so many things beyond what outsiders looking in even understand.
You see it from exactly. It's from a far different perspective outside of the box.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely an eye opener. So smash that like button, guys.
Goes, Buzz.
Leave a comment down below. What's your favorite Bitcoin?
What's your favorite fucking Bitcoin there, bud?
What's your favorite crypto, bud?
Yeah, if you're into crypto, leave us a comment. If you're watching these episodes and you make it this far, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you, and maybe you'll give us a topic for the next episode.
Let us know how you're doing.
Peace out.
Peace.
1, 2, 3. Oh.